There is no doubt that Grammy Award-winning singer John Legend has the voice of an angel. He's mastered the art of soulful singing, and in his 2009 University of Pennsylvania commencement speech, Finding Your Truth, Living a Soulful Life, John conveys a message of living graciously, soulfully, and truthfully in a world that is often blinded by falsehoods. Whether you're striving to meet graduation requirements at our very own Penn State, or maybe you're graduating this semester or an alumni of another university, this speech is sure to make you feel proud of being part of the college experience, but also making you realize that you're a part of something much bigger, a universe that needs you to seek truth. Today I'll be discussing the 4 components of the rhetorical situation, which include the audience, and then I will follow by the occasion, the speaker, and the speech. John's target audience, the class of 2009, was made up of roughly 6,000 graduating students of the University of Pennsylvania. He achieved identification with this group of students by finding common ground between the college experience. These were Ivy League students who, like 1999 Penn alumni John Legend, walked around the same campus, sat in the same classrooms, and maybe even heard the same lectures from the same professors. As he spoke to them in their seats at the Franklin Field, he says, "I look at all of you and see myself 10 years ago at my Penn commencement. I sat in seats like yours, filled with nostalgia and appreciation, anxiety and uncertainty, but also a healthy dose of anticipation and hope." He is able to relate to their feelings as they embark on a new journey, but also explains that Penn opened up his eyes to a whole new way of living and a whole new way of looking at life, one which he had hoped to pass on to the audience that day. Of course, the physical audience also included family, friends, and past alumni, but as Lesson 3 states, speakers who are also public figures are well aware that their audience extends just beyond the live audience. Because John is known worldwide, it's really no surprise that his speech has crept onto internet blogs and also political newscasts such as Democracy Now! In essence, he was speaking to the generation before him, but also to the world as a whole. During the momentous occasion of Penn's graduation, John's ceremonial speech turned deliberative as he used his time to address national crisis. He refers to the state of the nation at that time, from the thousands of lives lost in Iraq to the billions of dollars spent on war, the trillions spent on bank bailouts, and even the crash of the real estate market. In fact, according to a 2009 Gallup poll found on www.gallup.com, John was actually speaking the feelings of the majority of the country at that time, being as though 64% of Americans were dissatisfied with the way that things were going. He blames the fact that those who are high in power often see the real problems that we face, but they choose to conceal them instead of pursuing the truth because they're afraid. He paints a very clear picture of the consequences of dishonesty and not seeking the truth, and he explains that we as people have the ability to speak the truth to those in power, but also speak on behalf of the powerless. John believes that a commitment to truth requires a commitment to social justice. He himself is a prime example of using his experience and his insight to fight for social justice, establishing himself as a speaker with a very positive ethos. First and foremost, he is the creator of the Show Me campaign, which is a nonprofit organization fighting global poverty. According to their official website, showmecampaign.org, they fight for education reform in the United States, and in Africa they provide tools, healthcare, clean water, and education in order to break the cycle of poverty there. Awarded the BET Humanitarian Award, John Legend also supports 30 other charities, including the Red Cross, Live Earth, and UNICEF. His educational background as a Penn graduate with a degree in English, as well as his musical background, also solidify the fact that he has a positive ethos. So it's very clear that John Legend is a positive voice for this generation, empowering us through thought-provoking campaigns, songs, and of course this speech. This speech in particular, John is able to communicate his purpose creatively through the use of stylistic devices. He uses antithesis, which is a rhetorical device that suggests a choice between 2 opposing ideas. In this case, he explains that in our journey in life, there are 2 roads to go down: good versus evil, dark versus light, and heaven versus hell. He explains that when you're exposed to education as well as real-world experience and the pursuit of truth, you realize that the issues that we face as a nation aren't always black and white, but instead the answers often lie in a gray area. In order to stress the importance of truth, John uses repetition, using the word truth a total of 22 times. He also uses anaphora, which is the repetition of the words "when we" at the beginning of each sentence in the following quote. When we develop a sense of empathy, when we become listeners, when we become witnesses to the truth, it requires that we stop to think about the way that others live. When we do that, we can't help but care, and that caring leads to action. He goes on to use a descriptive example of poverty, forcing the audience to think of their purchases that they make for $1 a day, and then compares that to people who live on less than $1 a day. He says, if you are a parent, you watch your kids die preventable deaths. If you are a child, you often cannot get an education, and even if you do, you're going to school hungry. If you are a grandmother, you often do not have clean drinking water or shoes on your feet, or you may have to care for your orphan grandchildren. His description evokes the emotion of sympathy for those who are less fortunate, pity for the way that they have to live, and anger toward the reality of the things that really do go on in our country and in other countries. The repetition of these words reiterate John's idea that we have to search for the truth in order to really see the way that the world is going about and to change the norm and to help others. John made a very well-constructed speech which captured the hearts of the graduates and the rest of the audience alike. As John states in his speech, truth is born through process. It is gained through questioning. It is found in listening. He, in fact, was able to showcase the life-changing process of college, as well as the importance of receiving an education, as well as explaining the necessary questioning that people and the graduates must begin to do, and as well as inspiring those that listening and paying attention is the first step toward pursuing truth. John Legend explains that those who are educated are privileged, those who have knowledge have power, and those who are honest are capable of taking the world by storm. As I end my speech today, I hope that I reiterated John's message to all of you. Be inspired, live graciously, and remember, as the saying goes, if you know the truth shall set you free. Thank you.